Hello friends, I'm Sophia Rose and today I'm going to show you how to make sugar skulls for Day of the Dead celebration. So what you'll need to make these sugar skulls are a big bowl, 6 cups of granulated sugar, and 2 egg whites, and a spoon, and your molds. The molds that I have are from Rain Trading Company. They offered these molds in several different sizes. What we're going to do first is we're going to take the 6 cups of sugar and we're going to add egg whites to those. So I'm going to separate my eggs, and I like to do that in a different bowl just in case I get some eggshells or egg yolk in there. I can remove it. So this is how you separate an egg. So I'm just going to make a little hollowed out area in the center of all this sugar. And I'm going to pour in these egg whites. You can also use meringue powder, but I like using fresh. And you're just going to mix this up until it has the consistency of sand. And it'll just take a few minutes. Okay, so that is starting to look pretty good. But the true test is by feeling it. You want to be able to put some in your hand and be able to mold it and have it stay. So that looks pretty good about there. It's still pretty delicate. Feels a lot like wet sand. I'm going to start with one of the bigger molds because I want this to dry first so that I can go ahead and hollow out the sugar skull. This weighs a lot when it's totally packed in, plus there's a back side of the skull as well. So you want to press your sugar in really hard, really compact it in there. And if it looks like you need a little bit more, like right here, it's just a little bit underneath the mold. I want it nice and level with the mold. You can take a knife or your finger and scrape off any excess. You want to have a really nice, smooth, flat surface. You don't want it to be convex, because when you put the other side on, you want it to be nice and flat and have it fit perfectly. Okay, so the other thing that you'll need for this, which I forgot to say at the beginning, is you'll need some cardboard boards, and those you will put on the back of the mold. You'll turn it over, and it should release pretty easily, especially if it's just been washed. And here you are, a beautifully shaped sugar skull. So we'll set that out to dry. Should take about 12 hours. And now you'll see when we released the sugar from the mold, it has a bit of a residue stuck in there. And if you use it one more time, it probably will be okay. But it's probably best to wash them out after each time. But you could try using it one more time if you wanted to. They're a little bit harder to pop out. So this skull has another piece of the mold that accompanies it. It's the back part of it. And I'm just going to fill that up and do exactly the same thing. And I'm going to fill up a couple more. 6 cups of sugar is enough to make quite a few of them. You want to be careful and make sure that you don't touch them once they're out of the mold until they're dry, or they will fall apart very easily. the little tips about making sugar skulls is to make them on a really dry day. If you make them when it's humid out, it takes them forever to dry. We don't have to worry much about that in Colorado here, but in other states that might be an issue. Okay, so I'm going to let these dry for now, and we'll come back in a little while and I'll show you how to hollow them out. It's been several hours since I made these sugar skulls. You know that they are getting harder when you can tap on them and they make this nice glass noise. So what I'm going to do now is hold it over a bowl and take a regular spoon, and I'm going to very gently make an outline of where I want to carve away. I want to leave about an inch wall. I don't like to come into the teeth part here. I like to keep that a little bit thicker. Okay, and then I'm going to set this hollow side up so that that side can dry now. And I'm going to get the back of the skull and I'm going to do the same thing. These slightly smaller skulls are still large enough that they weigh quite a bit. So I am going to go ahead and carve out some of this one as well. If the outer edge is really dry, it's better to scrape lightly many times to open that up than to scrape hard, because that could crack the whole piece. There, now I've hollowed out all of the ones that we made earlier, and look, I have a nice big bowl that's really beautifully blended. It's still got the perfect texture to make some more. So the next step in the process is when the skulls are really dry, what you want to do is remove any loose sugar, because the next step after this is decorating them. And if there's loose sugar on there, then the icing won't stick very well. The skulls are all dry and they're glued together with frosting. And they've all been wiped clean, free from any loose sugar, and it's time to decorate them.